Hello, 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 hello. Greetings and salutations to you all. I hope everyone is doing as healthy and as well and as happy as they can be during this time. And let's get into some astrology. So today is Monday, April 12th, and we are following our seven classical planets as they oversee daily life around the chart today. So let's see what we've got going on. We are looking at the Sun, Mercury, the Moon, Venus, Mars, Saturn, and Jupiter. And so far, we have most of those planets that I've named in the sign of Aries right now for a stellium, as well as some other planetary or heavenly bodies here as well. So let's see, we've got the Sun, the Moon, Venus, Eris, Ceres, Mercury, and Chiron all together in the sign of Aries right now. And Aries is the beginning of the zodiacal year. It kicks off spring. If you're a farmer, it kicks off the planting season for the year. So it's kind of like the zodiacal January, whereas January is the beginning of the actual year. Or Aries is the beginning of the zodiacal year and kicks off spring and the rest of the year. So, and today is Monday, which AKA is also known as Moon Day, as it was named after. So let's take a look and see where the moon is right now, which is in Aries. And that presents a little bit of a complication because Aries is a fire sign and the moon is a water type, and water represents our emotions in astrology, and fire represents our passions and our ambitions. So the fire types are the igniting and initiating types. The fire aspect is the energy behind our actions and our influences, so to speak. It's what gets us going. If you've ever heard the term light a fire underneath someone's butt, then yeah, that's what that means right there. Is that initiating heat that starts that movement and momentum. So when we have the moon in a fire sign, the complication there is the water and fire aspect, because it seems like there can only be one winner over the other because of the nature of fire and water. Fire will either heat water up and boil and it will evaporate, or water will smother the fire and extinguish it. So we have kind of these competing themes here. We have our igniting, initiating theme, and then we have our reserved inward kind of, I don't want to say reflection, but the more reserved and inward focus going on, whereas Aries is more of like an outward focus. What can we do with all of this energy that we have? Well, we put it in motion. That's what we do. But with our emotions, however, that can be a little bit of a hang up there. Unless everything is in unison, because that's what we're, striving for anyway, I guess, in all of these endeavors, is that we can get ourselves and our actions aligned in unison so that we can fulfill those goals and those dreams and desires that we have, that we want to put in motion. So with the moon in Aries, it's a time of reflecting on what it is that you actually want, because the head and the heart can be competing against each other. And this time, I would advise just really getting in touch with what it is that your head and your heart can align on and can agree on, if they can. If not, then I would honestly choose a more inward reflection as opposed to a more outward drive. Um, just because you can reflect and always continuously improve on things. Whereas once you get things started, it's a little bit more difficult once things are already begun to kind of change things in certain situations. It's not always the case, but usually more planning and more forethought will do better in the long run than starting and winging it and just figuring things out as you go. Um, but either way is fine. It's just a matter of what's going to work best and what's going to save the most time, if that's the end goal there. Doing things in a fast, efficient way, or taking the slow, more scenic route, so to speak. Either way is fine. You're both going to get either way, you're going to get there at the end of the day. But it's just kind of one of those things where which do you prefer? Okay, so we have that emotional aspect telling us to kind of stop and think and get in alignment with our head and our heart. And we also have, with the sun in Aries, the sun represents what motivates us, what the sun is shining on, what we are exhibiting to the outside world, kind of what the outside world tends to view in us, how they see us, how we are seen as individuals, I should say. So it is the sun is what we are expressing. Okay, so with the sun in Aries, we are expressing the ambition, the willingness, the gusto, the the ignition switch turned to on, so that we can start these things, because it is that motivating aspect that you kind of need that jump start to get things going with Aries. And that's why I love the sun in Aries. It really is kind of that motivating time when you're really feeling optimistic. Because of the sun's energy, the sun rules the fifth house of creativity, so you have kind of like that double whammy of creativity, and just kind of that action. So that is always nice, unless of course the action is more of a menacing nature, then that's not so pleasant. But as when we are focusing and unifying our head and our heart on a goal, that I don't think could ever really be the case. So my thoughts on that. Okay, let's see what Venus is up to. Venus is at 27 degrees Aries, and this is another one of those water-fire mixtures. So, with Venus and Aries, with the, Venus has to do with the arts, with the way, the aesthetic of things, with the expression of, Venus ruling love and the senses, the sensualness of life, not just sexuality in a sensual way, but the sensuousness, the happiness, the pleasure, just the feeling of participating with life and its splendors, and its differences to behold. Like when you touch water for the first time, when you see something beautiful that really touches you, those are kind of those Venusian themes. So with that Aries factor, with that fire factor, we are definitely implementing ideas that have to do with aesthetics, with the arts, with getting things going, with expressing our creativity in this way, as it has to do with art and activity, even sports, anything that has to do with kind of our connection to the outside world with that physical element, but in a way that necessarily isn't towards work, but more towards fulfilling a feeling. That's kind of how I see Venus in that aspect. So Venus in Aries is fulfilling the pleasing aesthetics, getting things going that are going to add enrichment to our lives in an artistic way, and add value, those sort of things. And then Mercury in Aries is our thoughts. Mercury deals with thoughts, communication, all realms of communication, whether it be verbal communication, whether it be email, text message, social media, snail mail, all of those sort of things. So with Aries, keeping in mind that Aries is the cardinal aspect here. With Mercury in Aries, we are initiating conversations, we are initiating thoughts, we are starting the dialogues about what our plans are. We have no problem right now discussing, what we're going to get done for the year, probably even making some plans, probably even, getting really excited and jazzed and enthused about it. And that's all perfectly great. because that is all necessary to keep us motivated and keep us interacting and involved and, enticed, because you definitely need that enticement, that playfulness aspect of life. Um, and then with Mercury there and our thoughts and communication, um, Aries can be kind of bold too. Definitely, Aries is a heart on their sleeve kind of hearts on sleeves kind of people. And with Mercury, and when you get kind of that kind of emotionally emboldened, then you are much more at the ready to speak your mind and speak what you are truly feeling, speak what's on your heart. So that could be a theme that's happening right now too with Mercury in Aries, and just the readiness, the quickness, the speed of the communication, I feel like is a thing right now with Aries. And what else with Mercury? Just the maybe an excess of communication too. With that aspect in Aries, it could just be ramping up the communication. So you could be getting a lot of paperwork. You could be having to do a lot of paperwork. You could be having to do a lot of speaking right now. You could be having to do a lot of planning right now also. So which are all good things, but with Aries and that kind of that readiness of going, it can be a little bit difficult when you have to stop and pay attention to details, when that energy is just telling you to go. So definitely exciting and fun there. Let's see. Let's move on to Mars and Gemini. So Mars and Gemini um, is the comedian, is the what's the word I'm looking for? I have this aspect, and I have so many things that I could add in here from a personal reference, but I don't know how helpful that would be for anyone else. But Mars and Gemini is, I think I've already said the comedian. It is the delay fish. So things tend to things with involving Mars, which is our our drive, our action, the actions that we want to take, the force behind uh, the driving force behind our actions. So things can be a little bit delayed due to our kind of mental involvement with it. So with Gemini, you have the twins and duality. So with Mars and Gemini, this action that we're going to put into place is kind of being juggled back and forth between our indecisive sort of mind. Mercury as the ruler of Gemini in Aries, you're getting kind of that double witty, kind of double. I don't want to say cranky, but just kind of like that kind of not satirical, but I don't, maybe more like, maybe witty is more the word. I don't want to say sarcastic either, but it's just kind of like that wit, that fast recall on a comment, or we're just ready to just spit fire back. And with that delayed aspect, which can be frustrating, there can be some accidents during this time. And most of the accidents I feel like are due to just a lack of pre-planning and a lack of forethought, because we've spent so much time kind of going back and forth. We're like, oh, fudge it, I just got to get this done. I just got to do it. I just got to start it. And then that quickness to just start without having planned can add that extra delay in there. So that can be frustrating. Um, And then we still have Jupiter and Saturn in Aquarius, which Saturn is the work and the karma. So what karma do we have to our hopes and dreams and to the collective? And as they figure themselves out there, that is a big question that is being asked right now. What is the work that we need to do to fulfill our hopes and dreams, and how does the collective fit into that? And with Jupiter has to do with money and finances, and also Jupiter is the expander. So lots of careers that have to do with the collective. Lots of this totally tends to be, to me, a focus on social media and the way that we communicate with each other on a social level, in a big, broad, and digital way. That's kind of what I see with that. So I feel like this is definitely increasing during this time. I know everyone is probably like, what are you talking about? I never want to see another computer again after all the Zooms that I had to go on this year. But I think that things are definitely going to be changing with the way that people interact and the types of apps and platforms that people use with this also, to kind of expand the communication factor in there. And well, I think that's everything that I can say right now at the moment. I hope you have a fabulous Monday or Moon Day. Leave me a comment if you would like to tell me anything specific that you would like to hear about in these daily readings. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. See you soon.